On a previous video, I talked about how quarterbacks in general can be kind of dangerous when it comes to investing or however you want to look at it. And this isn't really necessarily about quarterbacks specifically. It kind of is. I mean, you see that there's always another prospect, and I think that's kind of the point of this. Kind of the point of what I'm trying to make here is that whether it's Wander Franco or it's Zion Williamson or if it's Trevor Lawrence, there's always a new prospect within the hobby, but also within just that people are excited for. Arch Manning I think he's a senior, so he's committed to Texas, which also is an interesting kind of conversation because at Texas they just got a transfer. I think his name is Quinn Evans, I think his name is, and he's their starter this year. But then you have Arch Manning coming in, and it's what are they going to do? Is this guy going to transfer again? Is there going to be a quarterback battle? I mean, we'll see. Arch Manning, one thing that I think is interesting with these NIL deals as well is I think that we're seeing almost what happened in NFTs and cards, where it's everybody was winning, everybody was eating. So when these NIL deals start happening, you see everybody's getting a deal, and there's getting all of these ridiculous deals. And for example, you get all these ridiculous deals, and it's sometimes for some players that might be better than even playing or getting some sort of going to the NFL and getting a contract. The quarterback for LSU, who took a step back and isn't playing anymore, I think he made $5 or $6 million, and it could be a little bit lower than that. I forget exactly what it was, but it was something in that range where he made a ton of money from NIL. And I think Spencer Rattler was kind of similar, where he made a ton of money from NIL, and he just didn't even, he was just I'm good, that's it. And I think that's what you're going to see with these NIL deals. So, prospecting in that area. Now, with football, it's a little bit different than, baseball, because with football, there aren't really any cards of these players, at least for the time being. We'll see Arch Manning. I wouldn't be surprised if he signs some sort of NIL deal with Topps or Panini. Once he gets to college, he might. There's a chance that he might even sign some sort of NIL deal this year. We saw Mikey Williams, for example, and there may be a rule with playing in high school versus playing. I think Mikey Williams was a senior this past year. I think he was, and he signed. Actually, I don't remember if he signed an NIL deal, but he did get a Topps Now card. So, maybe, I don't know, maybe Topps is waiting for Arch Manning to play in some sort of game. Maybe he wins, I don't know, the state championship or something, and then he's going to get a card. But we'll see kind of who ends up jumping in, because we also saw college Bowman cards for football and for basketball for Topps. So, if Arch Manning goes, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that. But since also Panini owns, the licensing for college, I guess, they might even start coming out with some sort of college product that is, going to top over what Topps is doing. But it's also, there's a ton of prospects right now, and I think maybe we're looking at it almost similarly to, maybe it's a similar sort of era to Zion Williamson, Trevor Lawrence, where they kind of both came up the ranks at the same time throughout college, and then they make it to the league, and you could argue that Zion still hasn't shown that he has lost it or can play, but on the other hand, you're also looking at, let's see, Trevor Lawrence, and he's only played the one season playing for Jacksonville, not phenomenal, but either way. You have LeBron James' son. Now you have Arch Manning, which I believe is Peyton Manning and Eli Manning's nephew, which is, I forget, Cooper, I think is his name, and their brother. Or that might be the dad. I forget off the top of my head. But either way. So you're seeing another era of these prospects that are going to come in. And I think, honestly, after these prospects get to the league, we might even see some of these NIL deals really come down a little bit. Because, like I said, I think it may be similar to the cryptocurrency, the sports card bubble, where it's everybody got a deal right at first, and then they end up being way overvalued, and then they just totally collapse. So we'll see exactly what's going to happen with some of these NIL deals, and we'll also see with a player like Arch Manning, is he going to get a Topps card or a Panini card, or what card ends up being the one that you want for him. at this point, we really don't know. And, with Bronny James, LeBron James' son, who he also has another son who apparently is better, Bryce. So that's another player. I mean, are they going to sign with Upper Deck because their dad's with Upper Deck? I would guess so, but at the same time, like, there's some interesting kind of stuff around prospects that I think in a few years we're going to see some changes, maybe within sports cards, maybe within the NIL. But I do think that once sort of we see a couple more years of like the Arch Mannings and the Bronny Jameses, we're going to see some changes throughout those types of industries for sure.